And it's June. And we've been busy, we haven't been over busy, we've been making a lot of hay, lovely sunshine, there's not a lot of crop of grass there, but we've had a very nice farm walk a couple of weeks ago up at Mr. Rees's, up at near Hursley at Winchester, which you'll see. Mr. Rees was actually Young Farmers President when I first joined David. And he's excellent farmers, very good at what they do. So we had a very enjoyable evening, as you can see on there.
Hello.
Hello, Mark.
And he's got that's a camera,
oh,
apparently.
Right. Well
so you'll be famous by the end of the night.
Right, well done.
So we'll stop off at 3 or 4 places where we've got a bit of a view, and we'll try and work out where we are. As a family, we've been farming for over 100 years in Hampshire. Dad's grandmother built the farm up over the years, and then the opportunity was, so we're in Upham, happily farming and living over there until 2006, when the opportunity came to move over to Hursley here. To cut a very long story short, we got the opportunity to move fairly quickly, so we moved from Upham, bought 2,500 acres here, which is where this is the home farm now, where you're going to go around tonight. We've always been mixed farmers. That's been the base of what we've done. We're a family farm, very mixed. So here we've got arable, we've got pigs, we've got dairy, and we've just got a new enterprise of chickens. So we're going back to where we started, sort of thing.
So where are we, Michael?
We're at South Lynch Estate on a farm walk by kind permission of David Rees and his family. So we're up near Winchester, very near Hursley, and he's a very large-scale farmer who originally started out with pigs and poultry, basically, and his mother was poultry and chickens, etc. And he was a young farmer many years ago. David's now over 70, and I've known David for a long time, and we recently hooked up, so that's where I buy the cars from now, from the dairy, and I asked him if we could have a farm walk. So we're farm walking today between the old farmers, the Bromore clubs of Hampshire, and the young farmers, to be able to look around a very nice farm.
So, dairy. Obviously, dairy is in the middle of the farm. We don't pretend to be dairy farmers at all. What have we got? We've got 450, well, they were crossbred, but we've been putting them back to Holstein the last few years. 450 cows on a milk contract with Marks and Spencer's. We've got 300 autumn calvers and 150 spring. Well, not quite 150, but that's the aim. That's our sort of where we think the most efficiency using the buildings we've got and the grazing land we've got. We've got 29 paddocks, roughly 10 acres each, and we're trying, basically, we're not a high yielding herd with high costs and high output. We're not a low yielding herd with low costs and sort of spring calving. We're sort of hybrid to ourselves, but somewhere in the middle. We're doing about 8,000 litres. We should be up to about 8.5 really. But to us, it's all about cost of the cost to produce a litre of milk is. Green fertiliser, I didn't know it even existed a few years ago, but we have to use green fertiliser, which is fertiliser that's made from hydrolysis from solar panels, but I don't know how green it is because they import it from Spain. What else? We separate all the slurry and all the dirty water goes on. So after every graze, every field's graze, we'll top it and then we'll put some dirty water on it, so we get most of our nitrogen from that. But all the maize and the silage that we grow has to have this green fertiliser. Dad's going to talk to you a bit about the chicken and pig.
My mother started chicken back in 1950s, broiler breeders. There were 3 of us in Hampshire that were doing it, and it was a very profitable business. It was done in old barns and then in sheds that we built from sheds. And I guess any of the success or the luck we've had over the years probably goes back to the chicken, because they were the ones that were making the money in those days. And it's done us very, very well, but we got to a stage where the buildings were getting older and one thing and another, and with the money we made of that, we started to buy a bit of land. So that's how we've done with the chicken. They've done us very well. I'm absolutely delighted we're going back into them. We started up in a small way. We've got put in 9,000 birds. Free range, I know you didn't see any, but they've only just come in, and they're just going to bed at the moment. So that's a chicken job. The pigs, we've been in forever and a day. Always had pigs since a little kid. We got into outdoor pigs in 1976. I enjoy pigs, and they've done us reasonably well over the years, on and on. But the pig industry's got into such a small, it's gone just like the chicken job, the broiler job. It's such a small industry now. You think it's difficult now to the farming job, which it is, of course, and you haven't got the encouragement that we had when I was a kid, when we were growing up in the started farming in the early 60s. You're encouraged to produce food, and it's a bit dispirited for you these days.
So this is Barley Mountain. This is the highest point of the farm, about 550 feet above sea level. Neat chalk. You can see obviously some lovely panoramic views. You come up here and you've had a bad day and you think actually life's not too bad after all. Introduce you to Mark. Mark's our farm manager, started in September, and he'll tell you a little bit about the arable.
Growing cereals, winter wheat, we grow milling varieties, SY Cheer, which is a Group 1 milling. We grow a Group 3 biscuit wheat, which is a Bamford, and then we grow feed wheat varieties, Champion, which is what you're looking at here in this field, and X-Days and Dawson. We also grow winter barley, not a great deal of that this year, which for the pigs, yeah. Spring barley, we're growing a malting spring barley, Laureate, which I'm sure you're well aware of. We also grow quite an area of winter oats, a little bit of spring oats, as you've already heard. But the winter oats we're finding is a very useful break crop.
Any white wine, anyone?
White wine for the ladies.
And we've had a great evening on a perfect summer's evening to have a farm tour.
Definitely.
And a great blend of young farmers and old farmers.
How many? There you are. Something to aspire to, eh?
Maybe one day.
Just got to start with a few pigs and some chickens. There you go.
Hi.
All right.
I'm good, you?
The first time I ever met David Rees, I was 14 years old and he was the public speaking judge at Swanmore School at the Young Farmers event, and they'd thrown me right in at the deep end and he scared me. But he is a very useful person to know. And he is an extremely good farmer. And with his family tonight, they have done us proud. They look after their staff exceptionally well, and they farm exceptionally well. And I would like everybody to put their hands together for David and for their hospitality this evening. So thank you very much. It all takes a bit of a mishmash and a bit of putting together, but I think we've managed it. All right. Thank you very much.
And grow more's for the older.
Grow more is for older farmers. The Grow More clubs in Hampshire, I think they were quite unique to Hampshire. They were formed after the Second World War to grow more. So obviously food was tight after the Second World War, and to encourage farmers to be a little bit more competitive and better husbandry, etc., etc., they formed Hampshire Grow More clubs to encourage a little bit of a competitive spirit to help to grow more. And they've evolved now into very much more a social club where old farmers can go and have a chat. You don't have to be a farmer to be a Grow More member.
Southwark.
Yeah, the Southwark, yeah, we all helped on the DDay Revival, which was really the first year, was last year. We got involved a bit, and it's fairly basic stuff, but they need a few volunteers, car parking, holding a rope in various places in the village when they do a vehicle parade through, which is, you know, it's just one of them little jobs that needs doing to try and control a crowd. And the other thing they got quite excited about doing, was there were some golf buggies this year running people from the car park up to the village, because otherwise it's a little bit of a walk for one or two who aren't quite so used to getting about or able-bodied. And so 3 golf buggies were hired and 3 young farmers got to drive them. You know, we swapped around a bit, all good fun. Even I had a go on one of them. We did a few straw bales for that. Yeah, I am kind of Mr. Straw Bale a bit in the village. Yeah, for the scouts for the coconut shy and for some seating around some of the rings and stuff that were going on opposite the Southwark Estate office in the Squire's Paddock, as they call it, just for people to sit on, really. But
Rising costs.
I mean, the costs of feed, etc., and fertiliser, they're actually slightly easier than they were a couple of years ago now, because the fertiliser price went absolutely through the roof, so did fuel, animal feed, but everything has now come back to almost a sensible level. In particular the fertiliser. I mean, the fertiliser was just astronomical there for a year or two. And yeah, we coped with some rising costs. Luckily the beef price is good. So a calf that we may sell or a finished product that may go is all much better than it ever was. But whether that's going to stay or not, I don't know. Or is it just a bit of a flash in the pan? It's held up quite nicely since last, well, winter, I suppose. Yes, we're coping with life.
What do you feel has been the biggest change for you in the last 4 years from when we filmed last time?
Right. And just the biggest change for me really is the not rearing the Chris Martin heifers anymore. That's probably one of the biggest changes. It's but not by no means a disaster at all. And Chris had to make big decisions, which he did. And we've coped with it. I'm more relaxed about life, but I'm not saying if another heifer rearing job came along I wouldn't take it, because I probably would. We did a few for Sparshot that year, which worked quite nicely while they were having their dairy built. Yeah, that's probably one of the biggest changes that we've coped with. But I kind of enjoy a little bit more of a fiddling around with, I don't know, odd bits of machinery and getting a fraction more maintenance done on odds and sods of bits that I've got. You know, I sit looking at gates that have needed painting for the last 10 years, and I quite enjoy painting a gate. It's quite sad, but I don't mind rubbing it down and things like that. You know, jobs like that.
So what sort of is your head count now?
So there, livestock-wise, there are 87 cows there's 87 head up the field, so that's about 40-something cows with 35 calves. There's 1 or 2 empty cows. There's a bull. So there's 87 in one bunch up the field, which is strip grazing the fat hen. And here we have got 63 and 83 in the shed, calves being reared at the moment. The last 20 just about to come off of milk. Yes, I'm kind of reasonably happy being low on numbers, just because I haven't got the amount of grass because of the weather. And I don't like being tight on grass with loads of livestock. So I'm quite happy to jog along with the numbers that I do, and then hopefully again the minute calving will start in early August, middle of August, and then we'll hopefully start picking up calves again. And there'll be an abundance of calves. There could be 200 again on the farm by early November. So.
And lambs?
And 20 lambs. There's 20 lambs out in the field fattening at the moment in the field by Denmead. Like to escape onto the road occasionally. Managed to sneak. I thought that field was bloody well fenced, and it's they still managed to find a little gap the other day.
No, you're not getting any younger.
I'm not getting any younger, no. Well, but I like to think I'm reasonably fit still. I think I still do a fair day's work, but sometimes I do go home quite tired. But I'm not afraid of having a nap at lunchtime or in the middle of the afternoon in the other shed. And my father always did do, he always had a nap at lunchtime, and Mother was quite good at it too. I always remember Auntie Shirley, she said Buster, when he was younger, if they were up the field doing spuds, or sometimes they'd sort of disappear and they wouldn't know. He'd led down in the row of spuds, he's just asleep. Just he thought, oh, better. This was when he was a young lad sort of thing, less than sort of like 10 or 15 years old, I suppose, but yeah, you very often find him asleep in the row of spuds. And get young people to help me. I've got Jonathan there, who's a reasonable regular, and Charlie and Greg and Alex, and you know. Get them to do the lifting and the shifting and the carrying. I can stand and watch quite easily. How do I relax? Go home and have my tea. Have a beer or a cider with my tea. Put my feet up. Sometimes I watch a load of old stuff on the YouTube. Sometimes I watch myself. Yeah, classic tractor book. We love a classic tractor. Comes Southeast Farmer. They come through. Yeah. I'll just go for a ride in the evening and I'll do a useful little job on the way out and bump into somebody that I know and I like to talk to, or you know, go and see nice people like Kesby Horn or anybody along the way. So yeah, I don't do anything in particular to relax. I'm not a golfer. I'm not a pheasant shooter. I don't do no real hobby. Young farmers. I like going to the pub with the young farmers and having a beer and a chat and waffle about nothing. They're tug of war in this weekend. It'll be quite interesting. South East Hands is fielding a young farmers tug of war team, so we're going to watch them on Sunday up at Alresford. So they're in the southeast area competition, southeast area of England. So there will be, and I think there's only 3 teams. So Hampshire have put a team in, which is ours, South East Hands, Buckinghamshire, and Oxfordshire. So it'll be interesting to see how they fare against them.
Steady! Ho! Ho! Hold him! Come in!
And they're quite enjoying the practicing. Have you been practicing? No.
Near the pub?
Always. They've got boots, they've got special tug of war boots, and they're all kitted up. Yeah, they almost look professional. You know, it just ticking does. Yeah.
Oh, that's it? No, that's lovely. I think we're done. Well done.